is Antonio Romayor Jr. I am the Chief Technology Officer at El Centro Elementary School District. And for the next 30 minutes, we're going to be talking about your child's online experience. How can we improve that? We're going to talk a little bit about Wi-Fi tips. We're going to talk a little bit about maybe how you can improve performance at home. We're also going to talk about applications that you currently use. And then we'll do our best to monitor our chat in case there's any type of questions or concerns that bring up, and then we'll do our best to answer those. So thank you again for those that are joining us on our channel, and we'll jump right into it and get started. First, let's talk about wireless tips. This is probably one of the most important pieces of information right now. I'm a dad too. I have two boys, one that goes to our school district, and shout out to the Eagles. And we get frustrated sometimes with wireless at home. I think that happens all the time. So I want to tell you that not all technology equipment is created equal. That is for sure. And what I mean by that is that what could happen is you get service with AT&T, or you get service with Spectrum, or you have service over your phone, and then sometimes you pay a rental fee for that equipment. That equipment is kind of entry-level equipment. And I know, we all have to be careful on what we're spending right now, especially with the COVID financial situations, and we're doing the best we can with wireless. But please do your best to communicate with whoever you're paying internet service with. That way they make sure they provide you the best equipment available for you. That is one thing. Now, some households are able to make a choice and then go purchase different equipment. It depends if your house is one story, if your house is 2 stories. It depends how many people are using it. But just so you know that not all technology is created equal. I would recommend you look online and you look at something that works for you. Look for reviews and things like that, or ask one of your friends. A lot of us have a techie friend. I'm the techie friend in my circle, but we all have a techie friend that could give us information. If you're a parent who doesn't have any of those resources, please, my email address is up on the screen. Feel free to send me an email. I will do my best to help you. You could always also call our hotline, which is 760-335-5150. You go through the prompts there, and you can request assistance, and we can try to help you out over the phone. That's for the families that are enrolled in El Centro Elementary School District. What can you do though? Just right away, try to get whatever the laptop, whatever it is, try to get it as close as you can to where your wireless equipment is, your wireless router. Some of them have little ears, some of them do not. Try to get as close as you can to that equipment. Also, you have to think about, there could be interference issues. That definitely can happen. Did you know that a microwave can cause problems sometimes depending on what it is? Did you know if you have wireless cameras at home, or if you have a hotspot at home and you're using wireless at home, guess what? There can be interference issues with that as well. So again, reach out to someone who might know, or reach out to our hotline to see if we can help you out with it. Some of it we're really limited because we're unable to go to our parents' homes because of COVID and for other reasons. So we got to help each other out through the different resources that we currently have. I get a question all the time about, Mr. Romayor, which service is better? Well, in the Valley, if you can pay for Spectrum internet, that's probably the best in regards to that internet. It also depends on the equipment that you have connected to. AT&T tends to be a little bit slower. On the cell phones, Verizon tends to have pretty good speed, but they are pricey. But all of them have issues. It just depends on where we live and how we're using it. El Centro, also with a partnership with the Imperial County Office of Education with ICOE, we have BorderLink devices. And the BorderLink devices were not meant to be used the way we're using them right now. It was a program that was just starting. We have a couple of antennas in El Centro. We don't have enough. And that's where we give you a cylinder device, and it's kind of white. It says the word Huawei on it. And that gives you access to the internet, the same internet provided at the schools. Again, we're working with BorderLink. We work with the providers, with Spectrum and others, to be able to try to provide the best internet experience possible. On the Chromebooks, our teachers ask us for our kids to keep their cameras on. If you have multiple kids in the household with cameras on, sometimes that could be a problem. Talk to your teacher to see if there's alternatives that you could work out. But those are some of the wireless tips that we could provide that without getting too technical on how you can improve some of that. Make sure that your Chromebook is updated. It's really important. On the bottom right, there's a little number that appears. If you see a number there, make sure you click on the number. It tells you that it's time to restart it. I would recommend restarting your Chromebook maybe Monday morning or maybe every day. A lot of the times by just closing the lid or holding the power button for several seconds, we'll turn it off. But there's a lot of different things that we can do to make sure that our wireless is working the best possible, right? And so far, I think I know we've done a lot of good work, and thank you to the parents out there for your patience, and also to the people that work in the technology department in El Centro Elementary School District. All of us have gotten together to help out, to make sure we're able to do the best we can, try to manage the virus, and at the same time, try to stay connected as much as possible. So those are some of the wireless tips. I'm going to see if by any chance there's some maybe questions that are coming up, and if not, that's okay. Don't feel like you have to post any questions, or we're going to be okay. You can always reach out to me via email. Let's talk a little bit about, make sure I didn't skip too many. Let's talk about kind of best online practices. My kids like to play video games online. It's possible that your kids enjoy playing games online as well. And so there's always different type of online threats. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. These are some of the things this is very technical, what you see on the screen. But I want to talk to you about just protecting your computer. How can you protect? Let's say you're using your own computer at home. You're not using a Chromebook. What can you do? You want to make sure that your computer is updated for sure. If you get a message that says time to install an update, don't delay. Don't wait and say, I'll do it tomorrow. Do the best you can to update right away. A lot of times what happens with viruses and the other things that I'm describing here, those things can slow down our computer. So if your computer was working great, and then all of a sudden after just a couple of weeks of usage, especially a Windows computer, and you notice a problem, you definitely want to see if anything got infected. Most computers now come with some type of free antivirus. They come installed already. It's important that be running on your computer. If it has an update, you want to do that as well. I think a lot of us have become somewhat more computer experts in the last couple of months for sure. And now the nice thing about Chromebooks that we use at schools is that they don't really get infected the way a traditional computer can. It is true that sometimes they can be somewhat slower than a brand new PC or a brand new Apple computer, but they do have the benefits of also being less susceptible to viruses and to infections and things like that. For yourselves as adults, I know our topic is about your child's online experience, but for yourself as well, be careful on what information you share online. Right now during COVID, the attempts to convince us of something bad has increased. So you get people calling you saying that they may want there's a warrant out for your arrest, or there's a warranty that's expiring. So those things have increased. So you want to be careful as adults. When you're managing those calls and you're looking at those emails, you want to be very careful before you're sharing your information with those people online. All right, so let's talk a little bit about implications for students. I think what I want to do, I think I'm missing a slide here, unfortunately. So if I'm sorry, I don't mean to get everybody. It's okay. We'll talk a little bit about this right now. With the online gaming, as part of my job as a CTO is to be able to have information to share out with our students, with our employees, with our families. And it's important to realize how fun online games can be, but at the same time, how dangerous they could be, right? So you want to be careful. So far in the last, I want to say 4 years that I've gone to an annual meeting in regards to what we have to look out and be careful for is online games. And online games with our students, particularly those that are smaller. So if we're talking maybe third grade and below, TK to third grade, a lot of the times they don't understand. Now, I said I have two boys, they're 15 and 9. They've both, even though, I know this material and I've talked to them about it, they've both ran into some type of issues in regards to someone trying to contact them online. And it's scary. As a dad, I just want to jump through the computer and figure out who are you and what are you doing, right? Because we're trying to take care of our kids. But we want to be careful with online predators, particularly with multiplayer games. The Fortnite games, the games where with our students, our children can have communication with people that they don't know in real life. Now, the great thing about this is that some advice for you in regards to staying safe online when the kids are doing downtime is that you can reach out to other kids that are in the class. That's what the parents do in my son's class. They reach out and they say, "Oh, you know what, Johnny or Jose or Alex, they want to be able to talk or they want to be able to play online, and this is what their username is, and this is who they are." It's nice because then our kids get to have a little bit of that digital social experience. They get to play some of the games. At the same time, we know who they're playing with. So that's really positive. That's really good for them in regards to keeping down the possible issues that may occur if there's some type of predator out there trying to contact them. But it does happen. It happens routinely. They join a game. You might have heard this. They join a game and then they start talking and then they start asking stuff and the kid doesn't know. They just start sharing information. And then later on, we're going to share some web resources where you could go and learn a little bit more about this and how you can have the conversation at home. Cyberbullying and trauma, those are obviously implications for our students, especially now when they're ever more connected, if you will. But I think as our counselor spoke about yesterday, if you were able to tune in, a lot of that depends on how we manage a situation as a parent. We want to make sure that we're understanding what the situation is, how we can help our child if they're experiencing some type of formal cyberbullying, because that has a definition attached to it. So we also want to have a conversation with our kids and monitor how they're doing, to make sure that if we notice a change in their behavior and their conduct, the way the counselors were talking about yesterday, that there can be some of that coming from their digital interaction. So, is someone purposefully sending messages using their school account, or is someone posting something on social media, or are kids up late at night, right? My kids right away, I can tell, I see the bags under their eyes and I go, "Oh, what time did you go to sleep?" I couldn't go to sleep, or I couldn't do this. And it's understandable. Some of them, even us as adults, some of us that are working from home some days, we're in the same room for a long period of time. We're in front of bright lights and the computer and things like that. And there is some impact to if we're able to rest, if we're not. So we want to keep those implications for our students in mind, because ultimately we want them to be as focused as they can on what they're doing in class. We want them to be able to learn as much as they can. And we want to minimize the distractions during the day. If they're tired or if they're feeling emotionally, some issue that is coming from the use of some type of electronic equipment, then it's important for us to be able to communicate with them and educate them on those things. All right. How can we protect ourselves? Again, this is some techie stuff for you on what you can do. These are some things that maybe you can look up, but probably some of the most important things down here in regards to, I know sometimes we may want to connect to someone else's wireless. We want to be careful when we do that because that's a kind of a security issue. We also want to be careful with sharing passwords. This applies to our kids as well when they're online. So our kids know their password. Sometimes other kids figure their password out, and it requires that we contact the school and then we work through those things. Keeping your computer up to date. Again, I can't stress that enough. In the technology department, we have right away, we get a call, something's happening. We say, have you restarted your computer? Have you not? Things like that. Yeah, that's super important. It happens to me too. Yesterday, I was trying to make something work on my computer and I had to restart it to get it back to work. Sometimes that's the way they work, but we can definitely protect ourselves online by sharing as much, or better yet, about knowing as much information, keeping ourselves informed. That way, while I know it's possible that we feel, I don't really understand this, Mr. Romayor, this is really techie. My child knows more than me. We have this conversation sometimes. They know more because, they started with it. I'm older, or it's not mom and dad. It could be grandma and grandpa or aunt or uncle or whoever it is. And they feel, no, they know more. You know what? While our children may know how to use maybe Fortnite better than us or know how to use a particular app better than us, what they do not have is the experience that you and I have, right? And that experience is what's super important. So we want to make sure that we're providing that experience and we're educating our children on how they can protect themselves online. Know your application. This is super important. So these are some of the popular ones. This is Among Us. This is a game that got really popular. And then right now, it's probably in the last 3 or 4 months. And then also Fortnite. I'm not saying they're bad or good. I'm just letting you know you want to know your app. You know, there are laws in California. For example, when we give this session to parents, we ask the question, how old legally must your son or daughter be to have a social media account? And the law says that they have to be 13 years of age or older, in some cases, even 15. Yes, so if your child, you think about it, we're El Central Elementary School District. This is TK through 8th grade. A majority of our kids are 13 years of age or younger. So it's really important for us to take care of their information. There's a whole other conversation to have around how much digital information of our kids is going to be available because of how much app time that they use. So you want to be you want to be as informed as you can. Okay, I understand some of us may not want to use these applications, but be aware that the kids like to use, for example, the filters in the applications. There's always a struggle on YouTube, for example, to your child could be watching a video and the video is perfectly fine, but then YouTube suggests a video that you feel isn't appropriate, right? So all of these little things, it requires our time. It really does. As a parent too, it is difficult to manage. But if anything, it's about having conversations with the kids. I know this is a session about digital tools and how we can use them, but it's still connected to having excellent, as good as we can, communication and relationship with our child to be able to see what's happening. Are they eating? Are they not eating? Are they moody? Are they not moody? Are they tired? A lot of those things kind of tell us if something else is going awry. But know those applications. Some of those are very popular. The Instagram, the Facebook, the Snapchat. I don't know why I just said Snap. It's missing the word chat. But the Snapchat. So you want to be careful with those, particularly for our young kids, right? The information they can access, but probably beyond that is who can connect with them. That's probably super important. I would think to you as a parent, you're concerned about that as well. All right, so I mentioned that we would share some information with you on where you can get help. And Common Sense Media is a free resource that we have used in our district for over 5 years, and we use it in different ways. Common Sense Media, we don't get any money from them or anything like that, but what we teach our kids is about being a good digital citizen, okay? It's kind of like when we had to take our driving test, right? And they talked to us, they gave us the book about, okay, here's the book, and you're going to have to learn how to make a right turn and a left turn, when you should signal, all those different rules, right? We had to learn what the stop sign signals are in case our signal light wasn't working. Well, we want to teach our kids how to be a good digital citizen. We want to do that, how to be a leader. And so we talk to them about internet safety, for example. You see the 8 different categories that we talk to them about. We talk to them about the self-image and identity. As parents, we have to be very aware about the pressure that our kids feel with being what they see online, and also with the amount of likes that they get, right? I think it's good and bad when I hear a child say, I want to be a YouTuber. Sometimes I hear, oh, they want to share what they're creating with the world. But some of the times kids say they want to be a YouTuber because they think that the popularity and the likes and the money that's connected to all that, that's probably the most important thing. Now, I understand all of us have different goals for our kids, and I'm not saying that those things are bad. We just have to balance those out with the social and emotional health and physical health of our beautiful kiddos. And so we talk about these things differently at different times, different grade levels. We have these conversations. Internet safety, for example, when it's appropriate for them to share something online, when it's not. Now, why do we bring this up? We bring this up for you so you could access it at home. As you know, now with COVID, we've all become partners. All of us are educators, even more so. Before, we were definitely a partnership in education, right? But now, even more so, we have to be as connected as we can. We need to share as much as we can with our parents, because the issue comes up all of a sudden. Everything's working just fine. Kids seem to be doing okay. And then we notice a behavior shift possibly. And then we have to figure out, where do we get the help, right? So know that we have some of those helps for you. And we're going to talk a little bit about at the end in regards to also our Parent and Community Engagement Center, some of that assistance that is there for you. We also promised in the description today that we would talk about Parent View. So Parent View, if you're not using it yet, It depends on which school, and I mean, not depends on which school, I'm sorry. All of our schools have access to Parent View. You get access to grades, to report cards, attendance, and all the information that you can see up here. And by the way, all of this is available on our website at www.ecsd.org. I hope you're not trying to write a lot of notes. After we're done with this, we're going to put it on our YouTube channel. You can come back and watch this at your own leisure, at your own pace. So don't worry about having to get all this information. But Parent View is an application we use for enrollment, for monitoring your child's performance at school. And right now during COVID, we're using two tools. We're using both Parent View and also Class Dojo. So it's important that you have both of those to be able to monitor information. Now, I will tell you, when it comes to Parent View, because of COVID, some of the information may not be updated as regularly, possibly, as it used to be, right? Because some of the things are constantly changing. The state tells us that something changes, we need to adjust on that change. So it's very possible that it isn't updated as it used to be. But have a good communication with your child's teacher, ask the questions. And that's why I bring up Dojo, because Dojo, I use it as a parent. I have it personally, I have it on my phone. And I get a message, I'll get a message from the principal. I'll get a message from the teacher. Just today, we got a message from the teacher that my son seemed distracted. And sure enough, he seemed a little tired today. Maybe he's going through a growth spurt, or he's, feeling a little bit of the COVID stress. But Class Dojo is an excellent product. Plus the kids like to get involved because they get to create a little avatar. There's some points that can be shared. There's a little competition involved in it. And it's a great way to stay connected with the school, even though we physically miss going to the assemblies and what have you. But Class Dojo and Parent View are the two tools that we're currently using. If you're asking yourself, it's not working for me, Parent View is not working for me, Class Dojo is not working for me, once again, you can call 760-335-5150, and you can follow the prompts on the message if you get a message, and then we will help you. You can also contact the school and they will help you as well. They can help you make sure that you get the access that you need for both Parent View and Class Dojo. So please, if you feel that you don't have access to those, you can reach out. Here are some information for you about how to use the app. The app is available on an iPhone. It's also available on an Android device, so you can use it for both. Also, the app is available on any computer. And I'm explaining here where it is that you can go on our website under the parent section, and then you can follow the prompts to connect to Parent View. If you haven't used Parent View and you're interested in using it again, reach out to your child's teacher or call the school and let them know that you need the information to be able to to be able to use Parent View. This year, we started using it, actually beginning of last school year and this school year, we used it for enrollment because we needed to use online enrollment features. So a lot of you used it to enroll maybe your transitional kinder or your kindergartner or another grade level into our district for the first time. So Parent View also allows for that functionality. We do remind folks that having access to Parent View does require educational rights. If there's any custody issue or concern, please call the school and they can figure that out for you. There is some government issued ID questions. We want to make sure that if Parent View gives you access to the child's phone number, their emergency contacts, their home address. This is private, your private information. So what we do is we make sure you're the person requesting that. But once we figure all that out, we protect your privacy, then it's only a one-time activation. After that, if your child started with us in TK and El Centro Elementary all the way through 8th grade, you only have to worry about having one account. And the nice thing about it too is that your child gets a little bit older. We also have Student View, and Student View is meant for the student to use, and they can track the information there, contact the teacher, manage grades, things like that. So it's a really good connectivity and options. This is going to be where we're gonna end today. We're talking about distant communication and training. So I want to thank you for those that listen to our phone calls that we send, emails that we send, and our text messages that we send. It's important that that if you're okay with receiving them, that you continue to receive them. It's important that you update your information. If something changes, if your phone number changes, your email address changes, please contact the school. That way we can get that information updated. Right now, things change from one day to another. So it's really important for us to stay communicated with you. If we don't see your son or daughter connected in one day, we're worried about it. What happened? 1 day, 2 days? Is everybody okay? Is there help that you may need? There's also surveys that we send out on a regular basis. Just recently, we sent out a survey to our families, asking them if there was anything that they needed. And we're working on some of those things. So thank you very much, parents, for requesting that help. We talked about Parent View, so you have that available. I'm going to jump to the last one, Class Dojo, and then I'll come back to PACE. Class Dojo is another one. So again, make sure if you don't have access to Parent View or to Class Dojo, to reach out to your son or daughter's school. That way you can get that connectivity, or you can always contact the helpline. The last thing I'll end with is the PACE Center. The PACE Center is the Parent and Community Engagement Center. It's our community center. Both our school board and our district leadership is in full support of, and has been in full support of this office. They have a principal assigned there, that's Miss Esther Green. And what they do is they provide services to the community. But they're there for you. They're there for us, because I'm a parent too. They're there for us. They provide different trainings and they provide different help. You can definitely reach out to them. Their number is 760-335-5105. And you can give them a call, or you can go to their website, which is ecsd.org/PACE, and or go to our website. I guess what you're seeing is there's a lot of ways that we're trying to offer help for our parents, especially during this time, where we're very thankful for the relationships and for the help that we're focused on together to be able to help your child be successful. So again, my name's Antonio Romayor. I'm the Chief Technology Officer. I want to thank you very much for being here this evening. I want to thank you for subscribing to our channel if you did. This is one of our first classes for today, virtual sessions. We're going to have 3 more. And we're going to repeat the session in Spanish at 6 o'clock. So I want to thank everybody that's out there. We're going to end right now, and then we'll be back in a couple of minutes with our next topic. Once again, thank you everybody for joining, and have yourself a great night.